Hey guys! Welcome back to another episode of Kiff Says, a place where we break down the legal aspects of your creative business and I try to convince you that the law doesn't have to equal scary. On today's episode, I want to tackle a question sent in by Desiree. Desiree asked, what can you do if you created and designed an item and sometime later you see a very similar item on the internet? Does it matter if you don't think they copied you? Thanks for sending in that question, Desiree, and I'm sure it's one that a lot of other people have too. The short answer is, it totally matters if you think they copied you or not. Copyright infringement is about copying. Two people can independently come up with exactly the same thing in a vacuum, and neither would be copying each other. Neither would be committing copyright infringement. And because they're not committing copyright infringement, you can't do anything about it. However, what happens if you do think they copied you? Then you can stop them if they copied your work. How we decide if they copied your work is either we get them to admit it, easy peasy, then they've admitted that they've copied your work, or we look at, did they have access to your work, and how similar are the two items? If you've posted something on the internet and they have internet access, which who doesn't these days, then you can assume that they had access to it. So then you have to turn to what the similarity between the two items are. When it comes to something like a novel, it's going to be pretty surprising if two people sat in a vacuum, two people sat independently and wrote long passages of text that were almost exactly the same. It's probably not going to happen. So there, a lower level of similarity between the two works would be required in order for us to think that copying had occurred. It gets a little trickier, however, with things that are functional, like this necklace. And that's because there's inherent overlap that has to occur in order for functional items to function. A purse, a necklace, a pattern, and the like all have functional components that we need them to have in order for them to function like they do. So there we're going to require a much higher level of similarity, both because of the medium and the usefulness of the object, as well as the fact that often these items are built on components made by a manufacturer, and you're not producing the components yourself. And so anyone can go to the same manufacturer and purchase that component and put it together, and there's going to be inherent overlap between those items. So Desiree, to answer your question, yes, it totally matters if you think they copied you. And if they did, and you find out that they've copied you, then you can go ahead and handle that. If you found an internet copycat and you're unsure on how to deal with it, I've got a guide just for you. It's designed to give you all the tools and resources you need to calmly handle the situation, not react in panic mode. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, I'd love it if you shared it with your network. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.